How's it going out there, everyone? This is W.F.S, your doctor, and today we're going to talk about an episode from the first season of Next Generation, Season 1, Episode 23, The Skin of Evil. Okay, first I want to talk about the opening here. This scene here where the Enterprise is communicating with the shuttle that's transporting Deanna home from some conference. Anyway, they are reporting that the onboard computer system is fried. So Picard calls down to engineering, and I forgot to mention this, the engineering section is in a routine maintenance of realigning the dilithium crystals. But it is the initial call that Picard makes to engineering that I find very interesting.
Main engineering.
Lieutenant Commander Leland T. Lynch here, sir.
How long before we can return to warp power?
Captain, I'm in the middle of realigning the dilithium crystals.
Look at the facial expression on Picard when he calls down to engineering. Main engineering, Lieutenant Commander Leland T. Lynch here, sir. And Picard's eyes roll as if, really? Do you need to give me your first name, your middle initial, and your last name? How about Lieutenant Lynch? Plain and simple, Picard just looks so ticked off. Okay, so the Enterprise arrives at Vegra 2, where they learn that their sensors can't really scan the wreckage. Something's interfering with that. And they can't even beam the survivors aboard because, again, something's interfering with that as well. So Picard orders them to beam down. So once on the surface, they find a slick is blocking their path. It's almost like a giant oil slick that's blocking their path to the shuttle. And after trying to go around it several times and it following them, it appears to them as in a humanoid form, and introduces itself as Armus. It does not appreciate that they're there to rescue the shuttle survivors, and it tells them that they can leave if they want, but they're not going anywhere near the shuttle. He doesn't respect life the way they do. And when Tasha tries to go around them to get to the shuttle crew, Armus attacks her. He warned her not to do it, but she did it anyway. Question: you've been trained in Starfleet security to expect the unexpected and to be on guard in certain situations. Your ship arrived to a planet that should be able to scan and beam up the wreckage survivors, but you can't do it. The oil slick keeps following them, and then all of a sudden this tar creature appears, and you don't think for one moment to exercise caution. Instead, you're talking gentle to this creature and walking around him as if he's harmless. Now, let's be honest about this. The only reason this episode exists in the first place was to kill off Tasha. That's my honest opinion of it. That is the whole reason that this episode exists in the first place, because she wanted out. Okay, so really think about this for a moment. Armus is a very powerful creature. He's pulled a shuttlecraft. He's reached into the stars and affected a shuttlecraft's onboard computer system, forcing it to crash land on his planet, where he blocks recovery efforts. The transporters aren't working on the Enterprise to beam the people from the shuttle up. They can't even get an accurate scan of the shuttle wreckage to see what the condition of the survivors is. Once on the planet, Armus blocks their path and then eventually kills off Tasha. This thing is so powerful, but right here is where the problems begin. Now, from a special effects standpoint, Armus as an oil slick, it didn't look good. It looked so fake. But the costume that the man was in who played Armus, that was fantastic. It really was. It was kind of creepy, too. The problem that I have with the character is once Tasha dies, it no longer comes across as a very nasty creature, because all of a sudden Counselor Troy is psychoanalyzing it, and we find out that it's lonely and that it was abandoned, and all that pent-up rage is causing it to lash out at anyone it can. It's attacked Riker and consumed him. It's consumed him or swallowed him up in his tar pits or whatever the heck he is. He's pointed phasers at Picard, the Doctor, and Geordi with Data as the instrument of the attack. It's nothing more than temper tantrums from a creature that is desperately seeking help. The character definitely did perform some evil things, like, as I said, consuming Commander Riker. But the problem is, again, This creature has all the power in the world, and all that he is doing is tormenting these people and not using his abilities to get what he wants. This is a really dumb alien. All this so he can get transportation to go hunt down the very people that abandoned him. Now, when it comes to the ending of the episode and the final conflict between Picard and the creature, psychologically tearing Armus down so they can get an energy field down to, I think, a variance of 2.63 so they can beam everyone aboard is a good story. It's a good way to conclude this battle of wits between these two. As I said, I just feel like the ending was so underwhelming. I was hoping for more. I'm not exactly sure what I was looking for, but I was just hoping for more than just a psychological tearing down of the creature. And when they're back on the Enterprise and Picard orders the shuttle to be destroyed to prevent Armus from ever getting off the planet again, then he orders a quarantine of Vagra 2, or rather it's now been condemned and it's off limits to anyone. As I said before, this just felt like an underwhelming ending. I'm not exactly sure how they could have ended it differently, but I just think as powerful as Armus was, that once Tasha died, it really lost its power. The creature became so blah, so dull. Now that I've said that, I'd like to see a continuation of this character. I think there could be more development here than what we got. It would be interesting to see if he did get off the planet, and instead of going after the people that left him there, he focuses all his anger now on Picard and the crew of the Enterprise. Or maybe if they did this in Star Trek Legacy, they could go after Jack Crusher, Picard's son, because Picard left him behind. It's an interesting thought. Anyway, this was just some thoughts I had about this episode. I thought, as I said before, the first few minutes of it was really good. But the minute they killed off Tasha, the creature's ability just seemed to go from fantastic to Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments, so please drop them below and let me know. Until the next time, my friends, God bless.